Hi everyone, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk a little bit about balance, okay, as we continue in this mental health wellness campaign of October. Sorry, I can't find the words. Um, but as we continue this October of navigating change and grief and loss, so whenever we have changes, we are going to stumble a little bit because we have to kind of find our footing again and find our groove. Okay. So it is expected that we are not going to be 100% maybe when the changes happen because we're finding the way to navigate it. Okay. And we lose our balance for a little while. But I want to share maybe tips to help me in keeping my balance as I'm navigating, changes of my own, with parents' illnesses and things like that that we have to support and that become challenging because we have to add to our schedule, that we have to adjust our schedule, but we also have to give a piece of our time and our love, and we do it lovingly. I'm not being resentful about it, but part of it is in order for me not to be resentful is I still have to take care of myself. Okay, so I guess for you, I'm sharing this so that you can also maybe benefit from listening from my story and how I navigate my changes. Okay. So with this illness change that came into my life, and caregiving, um, responsibilities, okay, or supportive and being of assistance to my parents, part of the way that I am choosing this time around, because it's happened in the past where I go completely into caregiving mode and then I lose myself. Okay. But this time around, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Because I have to learn, okay, from my previous lesson where I did that and things that I lost that I didn't like. So this time around, I learned that I cannot give myself 100% just to caregiving, that I still have to keep myself in check and in balance and still do things that fill my cup. Okay. So in spite of whatever's going on in the world, I still take 5 minutes of my day. And of course, if I have more time, I give it more. Okay. Sometimes I start just with five and it ends up being an hour. But I give 5 minutes of my time to something that fills my cup, something that is just mine. And what I mean just mine is that it might not be something to my husband or to my kids that they like or enjoy, but it's something I enjoy. So I give that to myself at least 5 minutes a day. So sometimes I write, right? Um, Sometimes I make my own stuff, like I make my own gel for my hair. I make my own products. So sometimes I go and I play. I play with things. I like creating. So that's what fills my cup. So I try to give myself at least 5 minutes of the day to fill my cup with creating something. And that's, I mean, it's just mine because it fills me. Okay. It brings me joy with something that brings me joy to feel more balanced and not feel like I am just giving, 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 but I'm to others, but I'm also giving to myself. And that is a way that I'm finding balance right now in the midst of chaos so that I don't get so overwhelmed. And I also give myself time to breathe, time to be at peace, time of stillness, because it's hard to find stillness when you're running around doing different things. But times of stillness are important, even if those are sometimes, when I wake up like at 2 in the morning, sometimes because that's when it's still, right? Sometimes I just lay there and I have those moments of stillness when I'm there. Sometimes it is, before I go to sleep. Sometimes it is before I wake up, for sure. I always give gratitude for the things that are going great in my life. And I always set intentions, right? With the intention that my day is going to go great. I want it to be fabulous, fantastic, whatever. I say something that is going to get me through the day, but it already sets the tone of what is going to happen as opposed to running the list. This is what I have to do. This is going to be. Before I do that, because I still do that because we have to, right? To organize ourselves. I go through the things I'm grateful for and what intentions I want for the day. Okay. And that's been helpful in keeping my stress at bay, even though things are stressful. Um, and in not losing myself because that's when I get resentful. Okay. And I think most of us do, right? When we are just giving, giving, giving and not giving to ourselves. Okay. So remember to give to yourself. That is the message. Long winded message, but that is the message. In order to keep your balance is continue to give to yourself and not just to others when you're in the midst of caregiving or in the midst of change. Okay. Don't get lost in the change. Still keep yourself on track with whatever goals you have, even if it's just 5 minutes of the day, but doing something that brings you joy. All right. Have a great day.